Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're unleashing some, well, truly fascinating insights. We're looking into a market you might not immediately think of as a multi-billion-dollar powerhouse, the global pet grooming market. We've tapped into some incredible data from cognitive market research. It really paints a picture of astonishing growth. Okay, let's unpack this and sniff out the real story here.
Indeed. And our mission today isn't just about, throwing numbers at you. We want to cut through the figures to help you understand the sheer scale, the trajectory of this market, but maybe more importantly, why it's expanding so rapidly and what underlying global trends these numbers truly reveal. What's fascinating here is just how much this industry reflects broader societal shifts, I think.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets really interesting. Globally, the pet grooming market was valued at nearly 14.4 billion US dollars. That was back in 2021. But buckle up, because that number isn't just growing, it's projected to practically double over 32 billion US dollars by 2033.
Wow. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, that translates to a compound annual growth rate, a KGR of almost 7%. So 6.89% to be precise, over more than a decade.
Right.
To put it simply for everyone listening, that's the average annual rate the market's growing year after year. This raises a big question right away, doesn't it? What's consistently fueling such strong long-term expansion? It hints at something much more than just a passing trend.
Definitely. Okay, let's maybe start by looking at some of the established leaders and maybe some surprising contenders. North America. This region holds a commanding position. We're talking roughly $5.6 billion in 2021 and projected to hit nearly $11.5 billion by 2033.
Yeah, a huge chunk of the market.
And within that, the U.S. obviously accounted for the lion's share, right? About $4.26 billion in 2021.
Correct. Projected to hit over $8.3 billion by 2033, a KGR around 5.8%.
And Canada's figures were robust too, just under $1 billion in 2021, heading towards $2.1 billion.
With a slightly higher CGR, actually, around 6.6%.
But here's a detail that caught my eye. Mexico started at about $400 million in 2021. But projected to reach almost $1 billion by 2033. And that CAGR, almost 8%, the fastest in the region.
Exactly. And that highlights a key theme we'll likely see again today. While established markets like the U.S. provide that significant base revenue, these, what's called emerging economies within the regions, often show the highest rates of acceleration. That surge in Mexico, it could reflect, growing middle class, maybe increasing adoption of Western pet care trends, that sort of thing.
Makes sense. Okay, let's move across the Atlantic. Europe, another substantial market, generated almost $4 billion in 2021, expected to reach over $8.4 billion by 2033.
Expanding at about 6.5% CAGR overall for the region.
Right. And when we dive into the country data here, it's a fascinating mix. The UK, Germany, France, as you expect, major contributors, right? Billions projected by 2033.
Yes, solid CAGRs there too, mostly the mid to high 5% range. Germany's slightly higher.
Italy's a bit higher still, over 6%. Russia around 6.8%.
But what's truly fascinating in Europe, I think, is how several, smaller or less traditionally dominant markets are actually outpacing some of those larger Western European nations, in terms of growth rate, that is.
Like Spain, I see that here. Recorded about $280 million in 2021, but projected $707 million in 2033. That's an 8% CAGR.
Exactly. And look at Denmark. Even higher, 8.367% CAGR. Switzerland, too, almost 8.2%.
Wow.
And even the rest of Europe's category, which lumps together various other nations, shows the highest regional growth rate at nearly 8.5%.
So what does that tell us?
Well, it suggests that these premium pet grooming services are gaining significant traction in new areas, maybe driven by rising disposable incomes, increased urbanization, and perhaps a growing emphasis on pet welfare across more parts of the continent. It kind of challenges the idea that, pet humanization is solely a Western European thing.
Interesting. Okay, so if North America and Europe are the established powerhouses, then Asia-Pacific sounds like it's definitely the growth engine of the global pet grooming market.
Well, absolutely, no question.
The region was valued at just under $3 billion in 2021, but it's projected to absolutely explode nearly $8 billion by 2033.
With the highest regional KGR overall, over 8.5%. That's huge.
Let's break that down. China.
A massive contributor, of course. Over $1 billion in 2021, heading towards $3 billion, a KGR just shy of 9%.
Japan, still significant growth, over 7% CAGR. South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, all showing KGRs well over 7%.
Strong growth across the board there. Southeast Asia as a combined region is also booming, around 8.6% CAGR.
But the truly striking figure here, India,
India.
started around $329 million in 2021, projected to hit over $1 billion by 2033. And the CAGR, nearly 10%, 9.842%.
Astonishing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That makes it the fastest growing major market in the entire world based on these projections. And look, this isn't just about, oh, there are more pets. It reflects a burgeoning middle class, definitely. But also a greater willingness to spend on premium pet services, maybe the influence of social media showcasing pampered pets. It's a powerful signal of changing consumer values there.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting gears. South America, we see consistent uplift there too. The market was around 820 million US dollars in 2021, set to more than double, reaching over $1.9 billion by 2033. A solid CAGR of about 7.3%.
And within South America, Brazil really stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah, $329 million in 2021, heading to $834 million, an 8% CAGR, similar to Mexico's, actually.
Right. Argentina and Colombia also showing strong growth, over 7% to JRs.
Peru and Chile a bit lower, but still respectable 6-point-something% growth.
Brazil's significant CAGR really underscores its role as a key player in that region's growth story. And again, like India or Mexico, it points to those expanding middle classes and increasing pet ownership driving the demand. It really shows how this trend, treating pets like family, investing in their well-being, their appearance, it's truly global, not just confined to specific continents.
Good point. Okay, 2 more regions. The Middle East, another area showing significant emerging demand, it seems, recorded almost $600 million in 2021.
Yep, $590 million.
Yeah, projected to more than double to nearly $1.4 billion by 2033. Healthy CAGR there too, over 7.5%.
And the country specifics are interesting. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, UAE, Egypt, all growing around 7-8%.
But look at Qatar.
Ah, yes, Qatar. Small base, $34.8 million in 2021.
But projected to hit $93.6 million, expanding at almost 9% CAGR, 8.777%.
That's quite telling, isn't it? The strong growth rates across the Middle East, especially that Qatar figure, it suggests a region undergoing rapid economic development, urbanization, factors that often correlate with increased pet ownership and a desire for high-quality pet services. It's a clear indicator of a rapidly developing market for these services that's catching up fast.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, finally, let's look at Africa. Currently a smaller market in absolute terms, yes, but certainly not stagnant. Reached over 446 million US dollars in 2021. Projected to more than double again, nearly $930 million by 2033.
With a CIR around 6% overall, consistent growth.
Looking at the nations here, Nigeria shows a decent CAGR, over 6.3%. South Africa, a larger market share currently, but slightly slower growth projected, around 5.4%.
And the rest of Africa category actually shows the highest growth within the region, about 6.4%. So while it's a smaller market today, Africa's consistent growth signifies its sort of budding role in this global landscape. It indicates that the fundamental desire to care for and pamper pets is spreading even in these more nascent consumer markets. Suggests a long runway for future expansion as economies develop further.
Okay. So we've gone around the globe. What does this all mean? I mean, if you've been listening, you've heard the clear message, right? This pet grooming industry is not just growing. It's experiencing consistent, widespread global expansion, projected to more than double its 2021 value by 2033. It's pretty incredible.
Exactly. And you can see this clear pattern emerging from all those numbers we just went through. While the established markets, North America, Western Europe, they continue to provide strong fundamental revenue bases. It's really the emerging markets, think India, Southeast Asia, Mexico, Brazil, Turkey, Qatar, and even specific European nations like Spain, Denmark, Switzerland. They are truly leading in growth rates.
Right.
And this tells us a powerful story, I believe, about shifting consumer habits globally. It's about what some call the humanization of pets.
Yeah?
Yeah, where our furry or feathered or scaled companions are increasingly seen as, beloved family members.
Absolutely.
And that leads directly to premiumization, a willingness to spend more on their comfort, their health, and yes, their appearance through grooming. And these trends seem to be accelerating alongside rising disposable incomes and urbanization in really diverse parts of the world.
What stands out most to you when you see all this data laid out? To me, it just highlights how deeply this sort of global love for pets is translating into a sophisticated, booming industry that's touching pretty much every corner of the planet.
I agree. This deep dive, it really reveals a fascinating global phenomenon, and it prompts us to consider, doesn't it? How does this rapid growth of pet grooming across such diverse economies, how does it reflect broader changes in consumer values, urbanization, even the evolving role of pets within families worldwide, and perhaps What might that tell us about where other consumer-focused industries, particularly those that cater to our emotional connections, might be headed next? Something to think about.